Our winter weather lovers are going to love this. It is Sunday afternoon, December 17th, 2023. A strong storm system moving into the Hudson Bay will bring its trailing Arctic cold front through the Chicago area tonight into tomorrow morning. The National Weather Service tells us that snow squalls with greatly reduced visibility, snow shower activity is possible along this front. They're even comparing parts of this event to the March 25th, 2022 event, which produced a severe thunderstorm warning in the midst of a snow squall here in the Chicago area due to damaging winds. So this is something that we do not want to take lightly. The snowfall accumulations, however, will be light. Dusting, not really much at all. But it's just that we might get some blinding snowfall and snow squalls for short periods of time during the day, especially in the morning, tomorrow morning. This Arctic front is going to bring much colder air into the region, and this cold air is a result of the powerhouse storm on the East Coast, which somehow that storm has not managed to grab into any Arctic air for that storm. Very little snow is expected there. However, the Baltimore National Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch in effect for portions of Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia. These are the western portions right along the mountains for snowfall accumulations of 6 to 12 inches possible over in that area. In that area, we're seeing snow-to-water ratios of 15 to 1 to 25 to 1. That's eventually expected. If you read the forecast discussion for those cities, you'll be convinced that there cannot be a more severe blizzard than what's about to happen over there. So although the snow accumulations are only 6 to 12 inches, maybe even only 6 inches, but the powdery snow eventually, it starts off as wet, but eventually turns to a powdery snow with very strong winds, the shocking stuff that's going on the East Coast. Whether it's snowing or raining, rain for almost everywhere, but the winds are just very powerful. Not as strong as what they originally thought for many locations. That's because the storm is taking a more eastern track for the East Coast. But there are some areas that could be seeing 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and we have 60-foot waves within 25 miles off the coast. Here in the Chicago area, we could be getting 21-foot waves on Lake Michigan due to this wind tunnel that's going to be happening in between high pressure over the Great Plains of 30.4 and the East Coast low of 28.9, according to numerous sources. It's going to bottom out at 28.9, and that's where we have the wind tunnel, which is where the Arctic front is. It is an Arctic front. It's an Arctic blast. The Milwaukee National Weather Service terms it an Arctic blast. The Memphis, Tennessee calls it an Arctic front, and the Chicago National Weather Service says air of Arctic origins. So it's pretty much all the same thing, I believe. And this storm system, I think there's even two of the fronts, but they move through, bringing us 1 day of winter. And then the warm-up kicks in after that, especially Wednesday onward. It just gets warm. But in North Dakota, they do tell us that it's not clear whether the upper Midwest is going to see the zonal flow. There could be colder air that pushes in there. There's uncertainty. In fact, they call this weather pattern, for them, this is a low predictability weather pattern, so it's difficult to forecast this weather pattern. But for everywhere else, they seem to be having no problem at all when it comes to the warmth. The warmth is just it's going to be well above normal for many locations, and there is some type of a rain system that may develop over the weekend. So going back to the main thing, however, is this 1 day of winter that returns to Chicago. We've seen very little winter. We got a feel of winter at the very end of October. We got another blast of winter at the end of November. And we're holding now in mid-December. We're getting our third feel of winter. It's just for a day. Long-term forecasters tell us that winter is expected to take over in January. And around January 1st, there is some type of, in their wording, it's some type of pressure balance changes, which will be happening across the globe, and which will produce about within a week of that, will have its effects felt here, both in Europe and here in the United States, but especially here in the central and eastern portions of the United States. That's where you see all the cold air. I have no idea how accurate this long-term forecasting is, but in general, they seem to be getting it right. Sometimes they're off by 1, 2, and in the past, even 3 weeks. So, but sometime in the first or second week of January, we should be seeing a return to winter here in the Chicago area. Until then, generally, the El Nino is producing a strong Pacific jet, which is producing dry and tranquil conditions. But as we see, even though the El Nino is in full force and it is forecasted and continues to bring these mild air, we have these random powerhouse storms that do develop and influence us for a day. And that's what's happening for tomorrow. And we do get some Arctic air into our region, which is a result of that East Coast storm. That's implied from the Chicago National Weather Service. Thank you for listening. I wish everyone a great day. Stay safe, winter enthusiasts. You'll have your one day fun, but hopefully more is coming in January. And those that don't like winter, it's only a day, and it just warms up right after that over everywhere except the upper Midwest. There's questions as to how warm it will get. Have a great day.